Hello, I'm Eric Singer. You're listening to Argonne's Public Affairs Science and Technology Past Fusion Cell Flash Briefing. Online trolls and how to handle them. Perfect in this day and age. New research just released by Brandy Bates, Public Information Officer for the Santa Rosa County Board of County Commissioners in Milton, Florida. Brandy's paper, Trolls and Their Toll on the Social Media Bridge of Communications.
How did you come up with that name?
Oh, I wanted to write about trolls, and I feel like social media is a great way to bridge communications to the public that sometimes we miss with the more traditional media. So I was thinking about social media as a bridge, and trolls and the story of the three billy goats gruff and how they charged a toll for people to cross that bridge. So that's kind of how I pieced it together.
People usually throw around that term troll a lot. Let's define it, especially for public information officers and public affairs officers.
So trolls are identified as those social media users who exhibit antisocial behavior. They are typically using more aggressive terms, and they use deception in their online forums to cause disruption and stir the pot, cause conflict. They're not just somebody who disagrees with you, and that's really important for people to realize. These are people who they enjoy confusing the message. They take pleasure in causing confusion online and poking fun at either the person who made the post or the agency that the post is for, or those in the audience who are responding to that post.
So talk about how you put your research together. This wasn't just a few people you spoke with. You did some extensive research.
I did. I conducted some research on some previously existing studies that were more about how trolls had impacted online journalists, because if you remember back in the day when newspapers used to have a lot of comments on them, and articles in magazines that were online had a lot of comments, that's where trolls kind of really got their start. Then they moved over to social media. I reached out I managed to get 150 public information officers to take a 12-question qualitative survey I put together. And I reached out to the students that were in my FEMA Master Public Information Officer class, as well as my FEMA Advanced PIO class back in 2017. I reached out to the National Information Officers Association Facebook group and the Government and Social Media Conference official Facebook group, two really good groups for PAOs and PIOs to follow if you would like good tips on working with the media or working on social media.
What did you learn after your research?
I learned social media it's a great means for distributing information quickly and cheaply, but unlike the news releases, which were our traditional outlet for distributing news, posting your news on a platform that invites public comment 24/7, 365 just totally threw the regular work week schedule out the window. And when you're not just using one platform, you're responding on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Nextdoor, LinkedIn. Some of the PIOs talked to even had Snapchat accounts. So it's a lot to manage. And when you have a really intense situation going on, like say we're in the panhandle of Florida, and we deal with a lot of tropical events. When you've got posts going out on 3 or 4 different social media platforms and comments coming in, it can be pretty overwhelming. I've realized that a lot of the PIOs out there aren't really equipped. It's just grown so quickly. Their team is not equipped to handle the 24/7, 365 that social media is. So I also learned the more you learn, the more there is to know. I'd like to do more research on this. I'm realizing this is an area that's just not been studied that well. And I'd like to see how social media managers, especially in government settings, are coping with the challenges of mitigating against these trolls in an environment that doesn't respect or follow a traditional work schedule.
Speaking of which, after putting your paper together for PIOs, PAOs, and social media managers, what help can you give them to deal now with trolls based on the research that you did?
Well, I learned that you're going to use the same skills dealing with trolls that you deal with when you're working with media during a news conference. You're going to stay on message. Don't lose your cool. The holy grail of responding to anybody who's a troll on social media is to provide them with the correct information, and then hopefully you turn them into an advocate. But I wouldn't hold your breath on that one. Nobody likes to be corrected in public. So if you can take a conversation offline, send a message to the person saying, hey, feel free to reach out to me by email, call my office at this number, and I'll be glad to give you more information, and just take it off that platform. That's helpful. Or if you have maybe an FAQ page going on about this topic and you can direct them to there without actually directly contradicting their message on Facebook, that's helpful. It allows people to save face a little bit, and more people who are following will then hopefully go to that FAQ page or know that they can reach out and call you if they have questions. I did this recently with an issue in our area that was somewhat contentious, and I noticed that all the posts that I did, and probably did 8 to 10 of them, where I said, please call the public information offices on Monday morning. Not one person called me. So it ended the conversation a little bit, but yet left them the opportunity to reach out to get more information if they chose it.
Anything you'd like to add?
Well, this is important because you can't just let haters hate, and you can't just let trolls take over your Facebook pages. You have to protect your citizens just like you would in public forum, in a public meeting or a workshop. So it's kind of what you promote on social media. I don't know if you've heard the saying, if you don't have something nice to say, come sit by me. That kind of takes over a discussion on social media. And while healthy discourse is a really good thing, if you have a whole lot of inflammatory or offensive posts that are running rampant down your page and the comments are just getting worse and worse, your whole site could develop this reputation of being routinely trolled. And then your more silent majority is not going to reach out to you on that platform. You're going to lose all the great benefits that social media offers, this fast, cheap, interactive message delivery. So it's important to make sure that your Facebook pages are safe places for your citizens to come and respond.
Thanks, Brandy. That was Brandy Bates, PIO for the Santa Rosa County Board of County Commissioners in Milton, Florida, talking about her research, trolls, and their toll on the social media bridge of communications. Want more best practices for your organization? Like the Argonne Past Fusion Cell Facebook page, or connect on Twitter and Instagram at Past Fusion Cell. Also, get the Past Fusion Cell's online toolkit for useful templates and information. Head to pastfusion.gss.anl.gov.